Hello, everybody. My name is Lucretia. I am the owner of Iconic Beauty, and today we are here to discuss the power of the pivot. I wanted to discuss the power of the pivot because I'm in a season right now where I'm having to pivot when it comes to my business or just in life in general. And so I was thinking about recording a video. I automatically thought about Domynique. I just really wanted to bring her on because just listening to her powerful story and testimony about just how she learned just the importance of pivoting in life. And so I wanted to bring her on so that we can just unpack this thing. So everybody welcome Domynique. Domynique here is my cousin. So if y'all hear me call her anything other than Domynique, just keep in mind that we on that level. You get what I'm saying? So
I know you can't call me that.
let's just go ahead and get into it a little bit. Did you want to introduce yourself to the audience?
Absolutely.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, wherever you're at in the world. My name is Domynique. I am your favorite esthetician.
But y'all already know that. Yes, thank you for having me. Listen, the studio is beautiful. I love it. But it's one thing for people to invite you or people to book you and say, hey, I want to hear your story. But it's another thing for your family. So, yes, we are family. I just want to say thank you because you know me. You know where I've come from. You know what I've done.
And people say, family don't support or friends don't support. Right. I can honestly say
my friends and family support me so much. And I appreciate it because I feel like they give me an extra boost. Y'all believe in me because you see it. You see the change. So
absolutely.
I want to say thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
I appreciate that.
And I know what that feels like because sometimes like people see more in us than we can see in ourselves. Yes. And I always knew that you had it in you and it was only a matter of time when you were ready to, step into it. So to see you out here doing these podcasts, these people not scared and shy in front of the camera, it's really amazing to see you. But like I said, I was really thinking about, I wanted to let my clients know just about the new role that I'll be taking on, just starting a new job and just taking on that new role, but also just letting them know that my hours of operation will be changing. That's a part of pivoting, right? Yes, it is. So my hours of operation will be changing. And when I thought about recording this video, you were the first person that came to my mind.
I'm really ecstatic and elated for this because it's amazing. Like people believe in you. Like I believe in myself, but it's another thing when you have people that believe in you, that understand you, and that's like, oh my God, like you're the first person I thought about when I thought about this. Yes, so that's just like, it's just amazing. It just makes you want to keep going, right? Want to keep going.
And I'll be honest, I've been in a funk. I have literally been in a funk the last couple weeks.
Right.
It's been bad. And my cousin called me, a couple days ago, and said, I've been tired. He called me a couple days ago and was like, I have something I want to talk about, and it's the power of pivot, and I thought about you. And when I tell you that gave me a boost, I literally sat up in my bed. I was like, tell me more. I want to know. It's just a good feeling. Right. It really is, especially when you're trying to get your name out or your conversation piece or just trying to tell people they're not in it alone.
Right.
Because I told you, even when I speak, I tell people, I used to be like, me, you want to hear me? But now it's like, yes, we are all going through. So I can help you get through. You can help me get through. I'm with it.
And so you ended up learning about just pivoting when it came to your business, right? So that was an area where you had to discover, I'm going through this season where I need to shift and change or whatever. So what was that like for you? What is pivoting to you?
Oh my God. For me, pivoting was making a change, and not just any change. For me, it was a big change. Like you said, you know about pivoting, you know about, you have to move and protect yourself and get to the next step. But I didn't know I needed to pivot. I was still trying to hold on.
Oh,
whoa. Yeah. I didn't know. I was still trying to hold on. So
the art of letting go.
Yes, the art of letting go, the art of pivoting, the power of pivot. Man, listen, I didn't know I needed to. I didn't know I needed to change. So I was holding on, going under. And just saying, I got this. I'm going to get through this. Okay, I'm going to pray through it. God's going to show me. And they say, He's not going to sit on that bed and say, hey, daughter, we got to change this. We got to do. No, that's not how it happened. Life kept happening. Business kept happening. Things were changing. I went from being mobile to thinking I was the best thing in the world because I got a brick and mortar and I'm in here doing facials and waxing and I made it. And then I went to, we can't afford this anymore. COVID happened and people don't have the money for this luxury at this time. What are you going to do?
Right.
I started to like, well, maybe I can do some lashes or maybe I can do something different. And it just wasn't working out.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say I didn't know I needed to pivot, I was just thinking, well, it's going to work out. People are going to get it together.
Right.
But it came to me. It's like, no, you need to get it together. People can't get it together. You have to get it together. So it wasn't a sit down talk. It wasn't a, oh, well, I'm just going to try this. It really was just what you're doing right now. People pouring into me. It really was people pouring into me. I had my mentor. I had another young lady where when I left the spa, I got introduced to another lady. It was like, hey, there's a nurse practitioner that needs a esthetician. I was like, oh, this is perfect. I went there. It worked out for a little bit, but it wasn't what I was supposed to be doing because it was working, but it wasn't what I was supposed to be doing, so it wasn't working.
Right.
And I was like, man, I still was trying to do it, trying to do it. So I realized after, and trust me, it wasn't overnight. This was years coming. That change make change. They're trying to switch it up. You got to do something. Something is not connecting.
Right. I think for me, where I came to learn that I needed to pivot was, I'm gonna be honest, I was listening to this sermon and he was just talking about just all these high places that we sit up in our heart and you put all these things before God. And I come to learn that when it came to my business, I literally put it before God. I ate, I slept, I breathe Iconic Beauty to the point where if I have my laptop out, my kids will come and say, Mom, you working? Literally, I did that more than I prayed. I did that more than I studied my word. I did that more than I put it before God. And I was like, wait a minute. God is not going to allow me to put anything before him. And he's going to put me in a position where he's going to show me that without me, you can't even do that. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, it was a season of financial dryness. No clients are booking. I'm getting clients booked, but not like I need to. You get what I'm saying? And so it was me having this opportunity to get another work from home position, but in that I realized, dang, it's time for me to shift. You get what I'm saying? Business is not going the way that it needs to go right now, so it's time for me to shift. It's not that I'm getting off the course of my business. I'm just shifting a little bit, switching it up a little bit or whatever. And so for me, that's where just the thought of having a pivot came to mind.
And I think that's what people have to understand. We're human. Don't be scared to pivot. Don't be scared to change some things. Because like you said, in business, you're thinking, oh my God, my business. Well, I'm not going to say you're thinking. I was saying my business going down. Oh my God. Not what others are thinking about it, but me, about myself.
Or even with that, it could be a little embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? Embarrassing because you don't want to open up and let people know, hey, my business is struggling right now. But that's why I really wanted to do this, because I wanted people to understand that you're not in this alone. There are plenty of people who are struggling in their businesses, and a lot of them who are struggling silently. And so that's why I wanted to do this, so people can know, like, you don't have to struggle through this silently, because there's other people going through it as well. There's nothing wrong with having to switch it up a little bit.
And when you say struggle silently, it doesn't mean you have to call people and tell them everything that's going on and putting your burdens on anybody else. It just means you have to figure it out. Drop on those knees, understand, ask for discernment. You're not just always asking for something to give me the money to get to the next level, give me the money to pay my mortgage and my rent. No, you're asking for discernment, so when you do get it, you know what to do.
And I think that there's power in just knowing who to talk to. Because when I think of struggling silently, I'm going through this and I'm not even opening up to nobody or talking to anybody, when I believe that there are a lot of people out there who can help us. When I say help us, I'm not even talking, oh, I'm gonna give you money. No, like you said, give us wisdom, give us understanding, help us to maybe discern what we're going through and to navigate through that. Listen, don't be out there struggling because we know it's not easy.
And at this time in life, everybody needs help. It doesn't matter if it's financial, if you need a word, if you need a shoulder to lean on, if you just need a hug. Everybody needs help pushing through.
So when you was going through just that moment of pivoting, or when you realized it was time to pivot, what were the things that were actually taking place for you to come to that realization that it's time to pivot? And how can somebody else recognize that in their lives or in their business?
Recognizing it, first you have to know your business. And even if you're not a business owner, you have to know self. Okay. So for me, the first steps was people are not booking. Honestly, that was the very first.
Right. So I started to say, okay, I got to hit the pavement. I'm old school with the business. I know social media is big, but I'm fine with hitting the pavement. Yeah. So I'm going into Walmart, Target, walk around like I'm shopping. Yeah.
I'm giving cards out. I'm talking to people. Right. When I talk to somebody, oh, what do you do? Boom. It's automatically what I'm saying. So I started to do that more. But then I realized that's not working. Then people are sick. People are home. People are wanting to do other things. Right. And then amongst that, I can't afford the bills. And then with that, life is happening. I have a child. I had a husband. That my child is going to college. I'm trying to deal with life at home. It started to happen. Right. So then I'm like, oh, I'm going to work. Same thing. Something has to give. So I'm still going to work on my regular job. Right. But I'm used to having these funds and these funds. Right. Now I don't have these funds. Right. So I'm not allowed to do the things I'm doing. So I'm starting to notice things are changing in my life. Right. I'm starting to notice where I could pay my rent for my shop 2 months. I'm down to a month. Right. Then I'm down to, oh man, it's coming up in a week or two. Right. So things just started to happen over, and I always felt like, oh, you're going to get through it. Keep praying. God's going to show you. Keep doing this. But then I realized you got to change something.
Yeah, that's so funny that you say that because, like, that was my stance. Like, I trust God. I'm trusting God. I'm standing firm on His word. And I was always that person that was like, no, I trust God. I'm trusting God. And God always told me, and I'll never forget, He told me a long time ago, if I do everything for you, then how are you going to learn the responsibilities of life? And that I was like, whoa. You know, then that kind of shifted a little bit. But with my business, I'm not realizing I was putting it before Him. I was going out there when it got to that point where nobody was booking. Yes. Now I'm here trying to find every avenue possible to make it work. And it just wasn't working. Right. It just wasn't working. And I don't know if it's because I beat myself up a lot and I feel like maybe I'm not doing enough. But when I look, I feel you're doing too much. A whole lot. You're doing a whole lot. Yes. You're doing too much. Look at how stressed out you are, overwhelmed you are, and you still feel like you're not doing enough. So that was,
I don't know, people have that misconception. Oh, well, you're going to be stressed. You're going to do this. We know that you're going to do that when you're in business, but you also said you got to listen. I was like that. Oh, God going to work it out. God going to show me this. But when I started thinking about it, I also was saying, God, give me the discernment to understand when you are telling me. Give me the capacity to hold the information in my head that you are giving me whenever you give it to me. Right. But I wasn't using it. I wasn't using it. I was asking for it.
Or how about this one? How many times He tell us to go this way, but we decide that we're going to go this way over here? That sounds good, but I think this direction is better over here.
It was glitter and gold over here. And then over here, it was,
that don't sound right.
That's too easy. It's only too easy because I was already giving you the tools to do it. Yes. Over here sounded so much better because you felt like you had to do so much different. No, I've given you the tools and the information to get through. I wasn't listening. Right. So yeah, for me, it was a lot of different things that started to happen, but all of it came together and I realized I wasn't listening. And I was like, you got to make a change and this now. Right. But the crazy thing is, when it started happening, I was like, dang, that's fast. That just shifted me fast because I started listening.
When I decided that, hey, it's time for me to make a change, I just want to point out just how faithful God is. Even though my business started drying up financially, the clients aren't booking the way that I would like for them to book, God still provided a ram in the bush. He still provided a way for me. He still opened the door for me. So for me to have this work from home job that I have right now, I know that it was nobody but God. And so that made it easier for me to want to pivot, if that makes sense. It made it so much easier because I know it was God opening these doors for me to get this job. So I'm like, this is the direction we're going? Cool, I'm with it. You know?
But you started using your tools. It looked glitter and gold over here for you to have your own business, getting people in. But I also gave you these tools of communication. I gave you these tools of education for you to be able to do other things. Right, so He didn't say stop doing everything you were doing. Right. I just gave you tools to help. Maybe this is going to dry up because you got to understand, we're in the beauty industry. It goes up and down.
It does.
It always goes. Any hairstylist, esthetician, nurse practitioner, anybody in the beauty industry will tell you, barber, it goes up and down.
But that was the difficult part for me because when I was braiding hair full time, I never had a down season with braiding hair. I was always up. But even that, I had lessons that I need to learn in that. And it's weird because I never looked at it as pivot. I was thinking about that today. We go through stuff in life. I never looked at any of it as needing to pivot. Well, I'm just going along with the change. You get what I'm saying? But there is power in understanding. You need to stop this for a second and go over here for a moment. Right. And you know what's funny? Me getting this job, girl, when I used to work, I never thought nothing about 401k. I never thought nothing about insurance. I just had insurance. I had 401k. But now,
so what you got for me?
I want that 401k. I want that. How much can I put in it at one time? You get what I'm saying? So it's definitely lessons that I learned in this and that I'm taking into this next season of my life. And even with that, using me having this job now, it gives me the opportunity to have one, more income coming in, and two, to be able to use some of that income to help push Iconic Beauty where it really needs to go, where I'm not stressed out about it.
You know, I think it's funny you said you never had a down season. But if you remember, when you started to pivot to doing brows, why did you start to pivot? Why did you start?
It was because my body.
So that's what I'm telling you.
You're right, dang, because I had to pivot from that because my body was no longer capable of being able to handle.
It was because your body was telling you, I'm tired. This hurts. This you changed to doing brows.
Yes, that's
and you was great at it. So guess what? You never thought about brows way before, but when you did it, he gave you that understanding and showed you can do it, and you've literally been the best at it since you started.
Girl, go ahead, tell me.
You been the best girl, and he gave you those tools.
Right.
You had the capital to go to school, to take classes, to do everything you needed to do to be able to pivot. And then now look, girl, now you got to pivot to something else.
And he still made a way in that too.
Education. You knew how to do what you got hired for. So he giving us what we asked for. We just got to listen.
Or don't come wrapped the way that we expected to be wrapped.
Sit down on the bed and say, hey, my daughter.
What advice would you give someone who feels stuck or afraid to pivot when they need to?
Oh my God. Do it afraid.
Oh, that's good.
Afraid. Do it scared.
Because eventually the fear's going to fall off.
I'd rather be scared straight than scared broke.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
I'd rather be scared straight. Yeah. Do it scared.
Yeah.
I do it. We do it. We don't know what's coming. Yeah. We don't know what to do. You just really, I know it's easier said than done. I absolutely know that. So I am not sitting here as a saint and I just jumped up and said, I'm going to do it scared. But because I've been through it, I don't want you to go through it. Do it scared. Just get up, start. And I will be perfectly honest. My journey of speaking started years ago, but I didn't do it scared. I was trying to wait until I'm ready. I'm not ready now. My mentor just called me this morning and was like, trust me. I texted him and said, I want to be more ready. And he was like, trust me. So I have to do it scared. Not even realizing I'm over here doing it scared.
And we ain't got no time to waste.
Don't have any time to wait.
I finally started working on my second book.
Amazing.
Started working on my second book. And I was always not necessarily scared, but feeling like I was waiting for the end of the story. Life Behind the Pole is out. Yes, thank you. But I'm working on my second book, but I was always not necessarily scared to write it, but always looking for the end of the story. And I had to come to realize the story ends when I'm dead in the grave.
It ain't
so what am I going to do? I'm going to keep sitting around waiting to start it? So that's good to do it scared. You know?
Do it scared. That's the biggest thing I can say is if you need to pivot. If you need to change some things, change it. And don't be scared to do it. It may fail, but what you're doing right now is failing.
Yeah. Oh, that's
so what do you have to lose?
Jam.
Let's do it.
So what are some actionable steps that you feel like somebody could take or mindset shifts when it comes to just taking their pivot season successfully? So for me, for instance, I have my work studio, but now I have to create another workspace for my new job or new role or whatever. So that was an actionable step, creating that space and preparing my mind for this shift because now I'm no longer just going to be doing brows and braids, but now I'm doing brows, braids, and I have this new role that I'm taking on. So what are some actionable steps that you feel like people can take when it comes to pivoting successfully?
Education is going to be your best friend. And when I say education, I don't mean you have to go to school. Put yourself around people that's doing what you're trying to do. You have to, because if I didn't put myself around people that are speaking, how would I know steps?
Mm-hmm.
How would I learn how to do certain things?
Yeah.
How would I learn to converse with somebody?
Right.
I know I grew up conversing. I know how to speak, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a certain way and a certain levels to all of this.
Right.
So I say education, because for me, the first step, everything I do, even when I teach skincare, when I talk about it, when I do facials, I educate my clients.
Mm-hmm.
I tell them this is what I'm doing and this is why I'm doing it.
Right.
So if you have to pivot, if you have to change some things, if you have to do anything different in your life, educate yourself on what you're doing. Because they always say it's in a book.
Yeah.
Read. And every book may not apply, but you can take different things out of every book.
Mm-hmm.
Everything may not apply.
Right.
But I would definitely say the first step is education. If you want to do something, educate yourself on that.
Right.
If you just go back to simple basics,
Mm-hmm.
we were taught when you were younger, read it, write it, say it. That's education. You read about it.
Yeah.
Read about what you want to do. That's the main step I would say if you want to pivot, is educate yourself on what you're trying to do and how you're trying to do it.
That's good.
Yeah.
So is pivoting something that you take and you're like, I embrace pivoting. I embrace it in my life.
Maybe I'm a quick ball change in a minute. Hey, suck. Right. But yes, it absolutely would be in my everyday life. You will always have to change something. You'll always have to do something different. You'll always have to maneuver, whatever you want to call it. But it definitely is going to be in the everyday life. You take, for instance, the business, what we're doing now. Mm-hmm. You pivot into your new role. Mm-hmm. Your new role could bring something else that you have to change into. I pivot into speaking, but that may pivot into something else. For me, my whole goal with even doing podcasts or even speaking or educating people or putting myself out there is I want to pivot into having my skincare line. Mm-hmm. My skincare line is my baby. Yeah. So I want to educate everybody else on skincare. Right. I want to tell them how wonderful it is, what you need to do from the inside out. That way you're going to trust me with my education, with me telling you. And guess what I'm going to be? Turn right on up into that line in that lab, and I'm going to be spitting out them products.
Right. That's good.
So I think it's going to be in my everyday life. It's going to pivot me right back into being a business owner.
And you're still a business owner, most definitely.
So,
that don't change. Period. Thank you so much for you pouring into me, pouring into us, pouring into just those who are going through it right now and who are afraid to speak up about what they're going through. You're not going through this alone. Mm-hmm. There are many people who are going through change, and I believe life just happens. That's just life, and we have to learn how to maneuver and how to change with life. And so that's what I'm going through.
I thank you for having me. I said it before and I'll say it again. I think it's amazing that you thought about me. It's a billion people in the world. Yeah. You have 1 million clients, and I know that they're all dope. I know they're all really cool. I know they all got some great things.
Shout out to my clients.
Yes, shout out to y'all. But for you to think about me, and I'm gonna say it, I know I'm gonna get beat down for it. I'm just your little cousin right now. Just to think about me and this journey that I just started, to even tell people about pivoting, to even know that it's okay. I appreciate you for thinking about me in this realm of conversation.
Right.
They tell you your name in rooms that you don't even know.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was God that spoke your name, baby. So I don't know what to tell you about that one.
Listen, you are amazing. Keep pivoting. Keep doing what you have to do. Keep those brows popping. Y'all keep booking. Yeah. I would tell y'all braids, but she don't want to do braids.
Nah. I wanted first and foremost to let my clients know that my hours of operation will be changing. So Monday through Friday, I will be accepting appointments after 5:30. And I know that worked for a lot of y'all anyways, because y'all work during the week. Anyways, but on the weekends, I'm more free in the mornings on the weekends. Mm-hmm. This is not anything changing. I still will do brows. I still absolutely love doing brows, but now God has me in a season where he got me focused on other things. And right now you'll see me posting more about the cookout that's coming up. Shout out for the barbecue in the park for the homeless. Don't forget to sign up to volunteer or donate if you choose to. Yeah. Every donation is appreciated and will be used for every part of the cookout. And you'll also see me starting to post more about my book. I have a couple of things that's lined up with the book that I've already written, Life Behind the Pole. You guys will see those things come into play soon whenever the Lord released me to say anything about it. And you'll see me every now and again sprinkle a little brow stuff, but right now I'm focused on what God has me doing in this season, and it's pivoting.
That's right.
So I want to also, say that I really appreciate you for coming and just thank you for trusting me to be able to come here. Thank you for not flaking on me. Thank you for
listen, this is a business for me. Okay? I am treating it like a business, and even this is my cousin. I treat it as like a business. Right. Like I am coming, I am here.
I appreciate you and I appreciate your message. I appreciate God taking you through this so that you can help other people through it, because I didn't know that I was going to come to this season where I needed to call you and you talked to me about pivoting. So I really appreciate you. Well, I love you and thank you.
No, I appreciate